The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more, into the breach we do go, dear friends. And of course, every day we meet between 2 and 3 p.m.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Every day. Of course, as we start the day off, kind of mixed reaction for what we've had or what we've had in the market. We're off $1.50 on the S&Ps. Volume is light. We're about 400 million shares on the New York Consolidated Tape below the volume we've had for the last 3 days. That can probably tell you something, and that is there's not a lot of people wanting to dive in here at the top. It's everybody wants to buy the dip. No one wants to buy the breakout, and that's been the issue. Looking at options, it suggests that we could close down maybe 2060, 2065 on the S&P cash. So probably a little high up here, but doesn't mean that they won't push this a little bit more into the close. We'll have to watch it closely. But again, not a lot of volume. And many times, if you have a non-volatile Thursday in expiration, you get a volatile Friday. So at least that's what I'm banking on or trying to bank on at the moment. But we will continue. Anyway, what else do we have going on? No, we got to kick the show off. That's what it is.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
John Welch Jr. is born this day in Salem, Massachusetts, after studying chemical engineering beginning in 1960. As a technician in the plant in Pittsfield, Mass., he becomes chief executive of the General Electric Corporation in 1981. And, with him, with his Six Sigma and a lot of other stuff, made a lot of innovations that went around the United States to make us better and more efficient. And I don't know what else you can say about that other than he is continuing to teach a great deal of new businessmen in various areas and sectors of the economy on big management in big firms. And still around, still kicking. Still like kind of his salty speech. He's not one to mince words, and still has fun. I think he's got to be in his he'd be as old as my mom. That's exactly. She passed away in 2006, but so 1935. That's 70, 80 years old. That's hard to think about. Either your parents, if you've been lucky enough to have your parents live that long, but it's kind of hard to think about what they would be like now. But, yeah, both my parents passed away probably earlier than most, 65 and 67, but a little different than you would think. Anyway, kind of a light day for history out here. Wanted to get right into a lot of the stocks that were moving. What happened to my IM? Something happened here. There it is. Came right back. I don't know why it went away. But we got to get out of that, and then I've got to launch my chart program, and then we're going to get into the rest of the stuff out here. To tell you the truth, I spent a great deal of time last night and a great deal of time this morning. I got up, and I have probably never worked so hard to find nothing in my life in the markets. I knew that there would be a few stocks moving, and of course, most of those are based on earnings and other news. So we'll go through those today. But I was looking for a very flat day out here, and so far I've gotten exactly what the charts pretty much said for the majority of the market, and that is we're probably pretty close to a high out here, and at least for temporary. And the question is just what kind of pullback do we get tomorrow? My guess is they're going to try to keep the market up, and it will probably fade late tomorrow afternoon to satisfy some of the people, mostly option market makers, that like this market to probably come off 15, 20 points. Not a huge move, but a bit of a move. I think the light volume here tells you everything, and that is that, we tried to, what are we, 3, 4, 5 points off the high. Wanted to go higher, but that was about it. So back to our regularly scheduled look at stocks that are moving. Best Buy came out with earnings. They talked about what they thought was going to happen. And of course, this is pretty much par for the course for earnings. And that is you've got two kinds of earnings. One's with stocks that are highly shorted, and they did everything they could to sandbag the earnings. They lowered them, and then guess what? They beat them. If that's all I had to do was lower the bar every time I thought I couldn't make it, it'd be pretty easy, and that's exactly what's happened. Of course, Best Buy is and has gotten into its candle of August 24th with a whole lot more volume. We spoke about Best Buy on a technical level, and I don't mean technically in the charts, but what they sell and what's going to happen. Of course, they're basically putting a bright light on what they are doing this year, and that is, of course, spending a lot of time trying to sell 4K televisions for Christmas, because it's the only thing that will really make their Christmas. But we've talked about why there are two different standards between Dolby and Samsung, and they're going to have to fight that standard out for just what the black level is and some other stuff. But I wouldn't be buying expensive $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 TVs when they're still fighting for which standard they're going to use, which digital standard for the TVs. Much less, it looks like I haven't seen any of the new super ultra high def DVDs out, so I don't know exactly what you would play on them anyway. So I'm just thinking if, a lot of people probably won't know the difference, or, if they're not technically inclined. But I think enough people will probably read some of the magazines and online forums to find out what they should buy. And then they're going to find out, whoops, you mean this is Betacam and VHS all over again, except one is not clearly better than the other. They're just different. Who's going to win? And that is the problem with this one. It'd be easy if I knew which one was technically superior. There is a little bit of superiority, but I mean, it's pretty marginal. It's not like I'm going to cry with whatever standard actually goes through. But first of all, I don't think there's a lot of content yet in 4K. And secondly, my guess is the prices will be half in a year from now, and then the standard will be set too. And maybe there'll even be the ultra high definition DVDs that you can get at the Redbox. In fact, that may be the saving grace of that company, and that is with Netflix not really mailing DVDs out anymore. If they were to go after that ultra definition DVD business, I think everything will work, and they're already set up to sell regular definition and high definition or DVDs, Blu-rays. So maybe we'll look at them getting into that. So that's kind of the play that I'm thinking out here. Talking about sandbagging, CRM got everybody to get their expectations down so that they could say that they blew them away. It seems like that is certainly one of those things that is not new, and that is sandbagging and getting a lot of people on the wrong side and running those shorts. This thing had been meandering around on fairly light volume. Now today, the volume is not great. In fact, it's light. I thought that there was a good chance that CRM could whiff because of the light volume. I didn't short it, nor I would have. I thought maybe something's going on, but you needed about 28 million, or even if you wanted to look at it, 20 million from previous highs out here would have been a good number to have. 8.4 million shares so far is not enough. The world's not enough, and 8.4 million is not enough. Okay. I got a question that I truly don't know the answer to in the den. I'll try to find it out, though, but I haven't really thought about it that much. I don't. The question is about how long does it take to roll West Texas up into the outlying and inlying months. And I'd have to go back and look at it. Maybe somebody's got an answer in the den, but I'm not sure. I normally, when I see that stuff coming, I figure it out for the time when I see it. But that's 4 or 5 days. A lot of times it's over in 3, I thought, but I'll have to look at it. Anyway, Salesforce numbers, of course, they are eating the cloud space world, and it is, I don't know how you can say it. It's just too light a volume, gave back half of what it popped up there. This thing's got a 40 PE. The earnings, as far as I could see, were highly skewed to the street, all saying how everything is beautiful and wonderful. This to me looks a lot kind of like a Facebook, where this thing could come back and fill in a lot of the earnings. And I would not be surprised to do so. Facebook came right back down after the pop within a handful of days to come back and fill the gap. It's going back up, but again, very light volume out here. To me, Facebook, and when I dug into the earnings, just like CRM, look like they're extremely light at these levels. They're going to have something really good in the next quarter to justify any kind of prices that we see up there. Both of these are on my now warning list of stocks that look rather precarious. I can't remember the Facebook price earning multiple, but I know it was 42 going in last night to Salesforce, and my guess is it's 50. It's probably 50 now. So nothing's gotten any better. So we will take a look at other things out here. How much time we have left? C-Trip International. Now this one, boy, CTRP, had a lot of people on the wrong side of it. This had been one of these stocks that a lot of people were sure that they wanted to be short of and short with. And I would have thought that maybe there had been some more volume with all the shorts. They certainly ran them and are going to gore them. Give this thing about 3 days. Another one that I think could come right back in and fill this gap after the shorts cover. C-Trip up to 114.45. We'll talk more about it when we come back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we're back. Let's take a quick check-in with the S&P out here. Still nothing. I can hear the crickets out here. It's 2082. And 2.3 billion shares. So volume is light today as we get into the segment. I wanted to remind you all that my friend Andy Hecht will have his webinar tonight on crude. And I think there's probably not a better time for this thing to be setting up out here. There's something going on in the commodity space. We saw a little bit of movement in gold today. And I think maybe we've got, I don't know what it is. It may be small, but be very interesting to figure out exactly what's going on. I mean, gold's up 1% or so, but I mean, that's nothing. Before crude, I was talking to somebody else today, and it seemed like maybe these things are all going to act like crude, and that is that they're going to act like they've got a bottom, kind of like August, and then just continue down. At least all the companies around crude were doing that. We talked about that in late August, that they got down to the lows, no volume, just kept going down. Never really stopped, never really accelerated in volume, just kept going down. And that was the part that was screwy. I never could find I've never found a signal that said buy them, but there wasn't like the throw the baby out with a bathwater. They just kept going down. Very weird, very strange. Anyway, C-Trip. Nice pop out here. The volume kind of tepid, though, very compared to the previous gap. And of course, if you go back a little bit further in this, if I can actually, see if we can go back. This is a 3-gap play. So keep a very close eye on any weakness come on Monday if you think that this thing will fall apart instantly. I think there's probably about 10 or 15 of these 3-gap plays that will fall apart. My guess is it won't be until after the end of the year. I mean, this is one of the best patterns ever for making huge cash. And my guess is that, especially with and going into the end of the year, these will all be incredibly ripe come the 1st of January. Okay. Question was then is, can you discuss the subject of encryption on communications and devices? How does that play out and affect any stocks? Well, just today, Microsoft announced that it will and has gotten the contract for all the medical field to provide encryption for them. I don't know how much farther that goes down, but basically they're going to provide the algorithm and everything else for U.S. medical healthcare. And I don't know why that's going to be different than what we use everywhere else, but apparently it is going to be different. Maybe it's going to be more intense. Maybe the NSA doesn't think that they need to get into them, and so they'll allow stronger encryption protocols for that. But already Microsoft has gotten the foot in the door. I think the effect would probably be that Microsoft may be able to actually outmaneuver Apple in its attempt to use the iPad Pro in this medical field now that they've already got their foot in the door with the first standard. And I continue to see, or we'll probably continue to see, these companies battle it out. On the rest of the devices, we've already seen Microsoft and a handful of other companies just say that they're going to put their data centers in foreign countries and ignore any subpoenas to give data from foreign countries. So I think we've already seen a great deal of that kind of results already, and is going to have it kind of affects them all equally, but I think it affects the U.S. more, and that these data centers are now leaving, and the jobs that they provide are now leaving and going overseas. You know, especially the Germans just weren't willing to put up with it. So already saw that. My guess is that we're going to start seeing a lot of other data centers move to the country of origin. Probably not a bad idea already, because it puts you much closer on the internet to the customers you're going to be serving. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to have everything in one place. But at this point, it has now become moot. Having data outside of your country is a license for the NSA to snoop, and everybody thinks the NSA gives the data to our U.S. corporations as a competitive advantage, even though they don't. They still think they do, because, of course, that's exactly what their countries do. So they are projecting onto us other things. But I just think maybe overall probably going to cost a few cents on the EPS for all these companies as they build new data centers elsewhere around the world to avoid the long arm of Uncle Sam. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And a little follow-up. We had some more questions from the den. You can email me at path@tfnn.com or give me a call at 877-927-6648. The question is, this is really a bigger question, but the idea that the NSA can't break your codes is pretty laughable. Most of the standards used for everything, they've kept from going larger. All encryption basically is pretty close to the same. It can be implemented better or worsely, and it doesn't take much to make it worse. But it all starts off with how long the key is. And for a long time, we had 64-bit keys. Then we had 128-bit keys. 256-bit keys are now the right. And, of course, each time you double those, you're basically pumping the available permutations of the code massively up. We've gone to 512 and really 1024 and 2048, and you just keep moving the size of the key up, means the possible combinations are greater. But I mean, this has been out for a while. There's a thing called a rainbow table where you just figure out all the codes to begin with, and once you have them all, you can decrypt any message fairly quickly. And that's what the NSA really does. They go out and they figure out everything. In fact, there used to be a DVD that you could download off the internet to break all the encrypted passwords on a Windows 7 machine, and even before that. And I lost my password for some reason, downloaded it, and it did. It broke the key on my machine, but they did it by figuring out every possible key and what that key would look like and turning it in. It's computer science, but it's called a computer hash, figuring out all the hashes. And that is some of what Bitcoin is doing now. I always theorized that somebody at Bitcoin had figured out a way to have everybody calculate every hash out there and was going to use it to break codes themselves. But the answer is the NSA will just go whatever it takes. If they have to buy 100 machines or 1,000 machines, we'll go out, figure out every permutation of the code, whether it's 512 bits or 1024, or they have to buy a quantum computer. They'll just figure out all the keys and the possible keys before it. Once they have that database of all the hashes, it's pretty short order in cracking a code. There's a lot of ways to crack codes, and if you watch the Enigma machine stuff that was out last year, it really, I can give you, if you want to know how it's actually done, you think it would be very hard. Mathematically, it's kind of hard, but conceptually, it's pretty easy. I can give you a video on YouTube where mathematicians show you exactly how it's done without any huge numbers, just literally writing it out on a big piece of wrapping paper. He shows how you go back and do it. And it literally hasn't changed that much. The only difference is you can't do it by hand anymore. But that's it. It's pretty much there. But no matter what Apple says or anybody else says, the NSA can get it if they want to spend the time and the money to do it. So that's it. No, it isn't. Yeah, it's on. Yeah, if you want to exactly know how to do it, just email me at path@TFNN and I'll send you the link. But one of the ones I love is the channels on YouTube I love is one called Number Files, where they talk about all the different numeric issues. But I think 2 years ago they did a long course, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 segments on how codes were cracked, and it really is, basically how they crack them and the weaknesses in different codes and stuff. It's not hard. It's not, you don't have to be a mathematician to understand it. It's pretty simple. The only difference is how many possible combinations. So kind of the difference between cracking a master lock and a giant combination on the front of a safe at the local bank. Vastly different amount of combinations that you'd have to have. Anyway, let's get back onto this. Okay, dollar's off a little bit out here today, off 71 cents. It was off a little bit more, kind of coming back. It's kind of interesting to see. It kind of snuck right up to 100, kind of has pulled back a little bit. But my guess is we're going to see this thing take a whack at this. And the way that it's been is you've got 2, 3, 4 days where the thing sits back and then it pops up another buck. But I don't see anything that really changes anything in this. And looking at everything else, I think you've got a nice little pop in gold here, but not enough to get it out of the gravity of lower prices so far. Anyway, we're at 2081 on the S&P Cash, 2.4 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. But that's that it. Okay. Other stocks of interest out here. Let's get back to them. We talked about, Microsoft, which is kind of nice. They did get the contract for all medical in the United States, at least, I guess, whatever is going to be left. We'll get into the rest of the medical issues when we get into United Health later in the show, if we get time. What else did we get? We did C-Trip. I haven't looked at that. I had a chance. I saw this earlier today. Wanted to see if the chart was there. And that was Geospace Technologies Corporation. This one looked like it has broken down. I wasn't exactly sure what these guys did. I wanted a chance to look and see what they did do here. Take a quick look. Designs, manufactures, equipment used in the acquisition or processing of seismic data. That makes a lot of sense. If you're not drilling for oil, you don't need these folks. And certainly you don't. It's broken into that low. See how much farther back. Let's go back 4 years. Let's go back more. See what these guys have. That's it. Is there any more out here? Well, I don't see a whole lot out here. Let's go back and put that in there in those. Wow. I think that tells you everything you need to know. And that is, there isn't a whole lot below on this. And without anybody drilling, probably lower. Keurig was another one of these stocks that they did everything in the world to move everyone lower in. And this is one of the best tricks on Wall Street. That is to get everybody as bearish as you can on their stock. Get everybody short. Make everybody think that it's fallen off the edge of the earth. And then barely beat earnings. Of course, they're saying things are turning around. I don't understand how that works at all. I don't think the trend of people not using their little K-cups is going to go out and change anything. They've already broken the previous low with lighter volume. You want to see that $39.80 low that we had just yesterday tested. It had big volume relatively. Today's a bounce is, of course, against a lower guidance, and sandbagging is good for a little bit, but I'd say 90% of the time, if you sandbag the stock, as soon as the shorts are done covering, the stock goes right back and fills those gaps. Down again is JKS Solar. Of course, lower crude prices don't help solar companies at all. Higher expenses do not either. And it looked like from what you got in the earnings, that was it. It's not down tremendously, down on enough volume. But certainly these things are in a downtrend. And they had kind of a nice pop in some of these. But my guess is that we're ready to go back and retest the August 24th low at $14.32 again on these. And just remember, we've talked about it for a year and a half, that in 2016, most, if not all, of the subsidies here in the United States go away. Last year, Germany already pulled all theirs, and most of the other countries that knew that they were going to be in fiscal problems. It's not going to change things anytime soon, and that those free government green checks are not going to be helping out these solar or alternative energy companies at all. KBIO. This one was just like out of the blue. I've never seen a company have such a desperate difference in the price of stock. Almost $2 yesterday, got to actually $17 pre-market from what I saw. And of course, it's still up about $10. You'd be happy if you were an owner of this company. But I mean, it's been doing nothing but going down forever, and then it's supposedly getting bought out. I smell a rat, and especially that rat about them opening this thing up as soon as the market started trading at $17 this morning at 8 o'clock. I'll be wondering what this does in the future. But my God, if you were long at this thing 2 o'clock at $2 yesterday, you had to see something was happening. The volume finally picked up these last couple of days. Somebody always knows something, and somebody knew something on that. Of course, L Brands was out with earnings. Not a whole lot of movement out here. At least it wasn't down, I think, is a lot of people's conviction if they own the stock, with the battering that retail stocks have been having for a while. You know, it certainly isn't having a great day. Just kind of a sideways day out here. A lot of these have some fairly decent volume at lows. That volume is untested. And of course, that's the August 24th low in this one, $75.11. I don't think I could be long this, no matter how good the news is, till it goes back and tests those previous lows. Lululemon, I don't think that there was actually any news on it, but it was moving nice. I saw a lot of people were getting short this stock and saw, a little bounce out here with some decent volume. It's given about half that bounce up to 49 bucks today. But, they had kind of that nice little respite when everybody thought everything was getting better. But it just looks to me like a lot of people drove this stock higher to distribute it, and the reality of lower prices and that huge down day going back to the 10th of September hasn't changed anything. But a nice bounce, one of the bigger bounces of stocks out here without significant news. Of course, we've got 2 new IPOs today. One is the Match Group, if you're unfamiliar with that. I talked about it on Monday. It is the company that is the owner of Grindr and what's the other one? Anyway, these are apps where the young amongst us colloquially do hookups. And if you're within a few miles of somebody, it shows you all the people that you may want to meet. And kind of interesting interview last night with the CEO last night. And he said some really saucy things. Of course, his app is not for the timid. It is pretty much a let's get it on kind of app between consenting adults. But the company went out today anyway. Both of these companies that did go public today, both Square and Match Group. Tinder is the company, by the way. I was having another senior moment here myself. Match Group is Tinder and one other one. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, Square, both of them moved their prices down so they'd have a good first day. Square is up 44% from its IPO price of last night of $9. So at least everybody is a little bit happy. And of course, it doesn't mean that all the shares that they have are not going to come out on the market fairly quickly. They just put a few less shares out there, got it out the door, and now look for additional shelf offerings fairly quickly. I haven't seen the final prospectus on Square, but my guess is that I'll get a chance to look at it this weekend. It will be like many, where they move the price down to get public, that they will be coming very quickly and often to the window to push more shares out. Do not be surprised if these people are pushing shares out in January again already. Don't think that there's going to be 6 months or a year. I mean, for the CEOs and the insiders, yeah, there'll be the lockup period. But for the company itself, I bet they have shelf offerings all ready to go at these lower prices. They're going to need to raise the cash fairly quickly, and that means more dilution when that comes out. Mark my words. I will give you a I told you thusly soon enough. We'll be back.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry, powered by the acclaimed With TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And just a gentle reminder to go to the front page of TFNN and check out Andy's webinar tonight about crude. I'll be watching it in the shadows. But I'm sure I know he's done a lot of work, because he normally IMs me most days incessantly, and he hasn't for 3 days as he's gotten ready for it. So he must be doing a great deal. Of course, probably the biggest news out here that is burning up the airwaves is the, I guess, the thing that everybody already knew, and that is actuarially the ACA, the Affordable or Orwellian named Affordable Care Act, is going to go belly up fairly soon. United Healthcare said that they're going to have to pull out unless it's fixed. And of course, there's, I'd say, a snowball's chance in hell that it gets fixed next year. So that means we're going to see some rather huge increases in healthcare premiums for the average Joe, and they're going to start screaming when they get those checks early next year. And then probably a lot of people are going to opt out, which just makes it worse. So basically, the United Health Group CEO put that in their release, and everybody is a flutter like no one knew it. Everybody knew it from the day one when this thing was proposed. Anybody with a spreadsheet or any God-given a gram worth of brains that actually wanted to think about it critically knew that it would never work as published. The question is, what's going to happen in the future, and is it going to affect all these healthcare companies as this one is today? And the answer is very tough to figure out, because it may be that that it just makes it easier for these guys to exit and go back to doing what they did before. And so it's very tough to figure out the long-term effects on these particular stocks. I think the tombstone should start getting etched already on the ACA. I don't see how you ever could mathematically ever make it work. And eventually, when the people get the bill, they'll say, no mas. But it is going to be extremely interesting to figure out what is and how this goes. Of course, they've already hit 11 million shares against the previous low with 10 million shares. That goes back to the October 22nd low. These things have kind of been bouncing around. But I got a couple of emails from subscribers asking me, this thing's down $6-7, but doesn't look like the end of the world. And it is kind of hard to actually say that you can say just because that part of the medical field falls, what impact it would have. My nephew just happens to be a CFO at a major hospital, and I called him and asked him his opinion, and it was kind of interesting. And he's basically saying that everybody was pretty much knew that everything was going to go this way, and why they're not really saying it because they don't want the political fallout. They've already planned for what they're going to do. But, a lot of people have already seen, $300 a month, probably a little bit too much for a great deal of Americans to spend. We talked about how you could have a brand new car for what this would cost. And a lot of people without cars would just as soon go without health care and have a car. And that is the rub, folks. Someone's got to pay for it. And I always loved J.P. O'Rourke's quote on that. And that is, if you think healthcare is expensive, just wait until it's free. Anyway, we will be back tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Hang on for Tom O'Brien and then Andy Heck tonight and his webinar. We'll see you later.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.